Well, a judge believes she heard enough for this case to head to trial. Much of the evidence presented today we learned about during the initial investigation. But prosecutors say that while detectives were conducting an extensive search for Kada, hoping to find her alive, Keon King was here at the Criminal Justice Center for a court appearance just hours after he allegedly buried her body. With her name written across his jacket, Kada Scott's father, Kevin, left the Criminal Justice Center late this afternoon after coming face to face with the man accused of murdering his 23-year-old daughter.
The Kada Scott family is continuing to grieve. In fact, their grief is unimaginable, but so is their commitment for finding and maintaining accountability for this.
Prosecutors spent about 5 hours laying out evidence they say connects 21-year-old King to both the disappearance and death of Scott in a case that received national attention. The Philadelphia woman went missing on October 4th of last year, shortly after arriving to her job at an assisted living facility in Chestnut Hill. On the witness stand, her coworker told the court she saw her leave the building shortly after she arrived and that Kada was on the phone saying, "I can't believe you called me," and that she sounded very upset. Prosecutors allege Scott was on the phone with King and that she left work to meet him around 10 p.m. and was murdered sometime after. For 2 weeks, authorities diligently looked for the young woman, conducting searches at the Aubrey Arboretum in Germantown, an abandoned middle school across the street where they found her phone case and debit card. Scott's body was eventually found in a shallow grave on the grounds of the school's property on October 18th after an anonymous tip led detectives there for a second time. Prosecutors allege King and an unknown individual moved her body from the trunk of a vehicle less than 2 days after her murder and then burned the vehicle after she was buried. Much of today's testimony focused on cell phone and internet data. A homicide detective showed evidence he says connects King's phone and online accounts to Scott's place of work the night she disappeared, the Arboretum where her phone pinged, and the school where she was ultimately discovered. King's family and his attorney left without speaking today, but in court, Robert Gamberg argued the prosecution presented evidence involving a phone not subscribed to his client or anyone, adding what you don't have is anything connecting this defendant to the death of Miss Scott. King is due back in court for his formal arraignment on February 23rd. That is when we are told he is expected to plead not guilty. Live outside the Criminal Justice Center in Center City, I'm Brian Sheehan, NBC 10 News. Jackie.